started where a lot of my designs start, in Google Sketchup. I brought a picture in of a bike that I knew was quite popular, and I just copied some of its dimensions. I knew it was important to get the wheelbase and the distance of the handlebars and the height of the seat fairly accurate. So I used that, and I've got those measurements. The problem with Google SketchUp, however, is flowing curves are hard to do. So after I got my measurements, I transferred them to a large piece of paper, full scale, and then I just started filling in the empty spaces in between. That's when it started to look like a motorcycle. One of my curves looked right, so I decided to run with it. The challenge has always been how to make it strong enough to stand up to regular abuse, like a 3-year-old's going to give it, but still make it light. I didn't have the thickness of plywood I wanted. I wanted some 1/2-inch Baltic birch, but all I had was 3/8. So I had to do a few other things to make it work. While I did have some basic dimensions and a rough plan, a lot of the design process involved just setting it up, taking a step back, and looking at it, seeing if it looked right. The that looks about right method. And that's where a lot of the stuff on this one came from. The seat was the first time I've ever done a full mortise and tenon. I was a little nervous about it, but I knew I had extra wood, so if it went badly, I could just cut another one. Turns out I didn't have to. I'm relatively pleased with how it turned out. I ended up putting a 1/4-inch dowel through it just to pin it so it wouldn't go anywhere. My favorite detail on this bike has been the handlebars. I started with a bandsaw, moved to the router, and then finally put the final shape to it with a block plane and a piece of sandpaper. The hand grips, I started with a piece of dead cow and then dyed and cut and stitched it till I got the handlebars you see right here. The end caps, they're copper end caps for sealing copper pipes. It's a 3/4-inch pipe. Took me a little while to think about what I was going to use for it, because I needed something tough. Because I know that's a spot that's a bike is always sit down on, and it usually takes the most abuse, especially from a 3-year-old. The bike frame had this big open spot, perfect for putting engine detail in. Some of the guys at Coffee were suggesting that what I should do is take an old 2-cycle engine, cut out all the heavy bits, cut the cylinder in half, and actually attach that. Now that would have looked pretty sweet, but I was worried about weight and, well, I just didn't have enough time to do that. So what I did instead is I cut a template out of 1/4-inch MDF and used a torch to burn in the pattern. At the first try, it actually had too much detail. I tried to get the cooling fins and everything, and it really didn't turn out quite as well. So I cut a second pattern with a second simpler pattern, and I'm much happier with how it turned out. Here's the final bike all put together and ready to go. I'm proud of this project. There's a lot of work went into it, and it did what I wanted it to do. My son really likes it. I made sure it was the last gift he opened on his birthday because, well, I'm not going to say he didn't play with any of his other toys, but he played with most of them while riding the bike. The dimensions, they're perfect. It fits him well. Doesn't have any problem with it. I was worried it was going to be too heavy, and I haven't been able to weigh it yet, but he doesn't have any troubles with it. He's really been enjoying it. Here's some footage of my son enjoying his new balance bike.